Hello, everybody, and welcome to a special edition of the Charm City Sideline Podcast. I'm Zach. My co-host Brad is not with me. He is enjoying a short vacation, but tonight we are previewing the Ravens versus the Chiefs. Both teams 1-2. Everything's on the table. High stakes showdown, and we're going to get into it. If you guys have any comments or anything like that to add in, maybe I'm saying something stupid, you should throw it in there and we'll get to it here live. Let's start with a few notes. Just earlier today, Mina Kimes said something about people talking about this game as if it's the game of the week. And I don't think I agree. I think a lot of people might even say mid versus mid. I think Brad just said that last video. I don't know. I think that's a little, even then it's giving it a little too much credit. Sometimes we can say it's just a weakness against the weaknesses right now. Both teams fighting for their lives, their playoff lives. You could almost say that it's not necessarily a must-win game for the Ravens. Sure, 1-2. Things are looking bleak. Defense is looking bad. Offense wasn't humming last week. Kansas City is looking at it as their last chance to hang around and potentially even make the playoffs. They have an intense division. Ravens have kind of a cakewalk of a division this year. Still, we got to take this game seriously, but I'm nervous about it for sure. Another topic, Zach Orr and Harbaugh and Monken all had press conferences today talking about, it basically being a 50-50 on the Ravens roster underperforming and the coaches also not doing as well as they could. And I think that's a healthy thing to see. But when we talk about the Chiefs, the Ravens, this roster specifically, is geared and constructed to beat the Chiefs, maybe the Bengals as well. But for two teams that the Ravens have had their eye on when constructing the secondary specifically, this was the team they had in mind. Sure, the Bills are a great team, but they don't have the weapons to hang around as much with the secondary compared to a Mahomes whenever he's fully healthy, which this week they're not. So let's get into what's different about the Chiefs. If Ravens fans want a little haunting message, Gardner Minshew is the backup now. You can throw that back to 2024, losing to Gardner Minshew and his Raiders at the time in dramatic fashion to put us at 0-2 in a similar spot this year around. This might be Hollywood Brown's first time playing the Ravens since his departure. That's a big name to watch. And no Rashee Rice for the Chiefs. Big stat to add at the end of that. 13% of teams since 1990 have made the playoffs after starting 1-3, and one of these two teams is going to. 13% chance. Holy crap, that's rough. So let's look at some matchup history now. 2024, obviously, start the year with a complete bang, and that one is 2027 on a likely toenail missing into the end zone and a dramatic loss for the Ravens. Then again in 2024 in the divisional, Zay Flowers fumbling at the goal line, and we lose 10-17. Mahomes is 5-1 against Lamar and 3-0 in Arrowhead. Lamar's never won there. Lamar's only win in that whole time was 36-35 in 2021. And I thought this was an interesting note. They came back down 11 in the fourth quarter and won. Talk about all these comebacks, these blown leads for the Ravens of late. And the one high note from that one way back when as well was the Ravens were on the opposite end of it. Something to note. But also this game's at 4:25 p.m. Eastern time on CBS. I believe Nance and Romo were calling the game. Some people are not happy with that. Ravens are the betting favorite, -2.5. Kind of surprised. And the over-under is 48.5. So for the Chiefs, injury-wise, everyone on the 53-man roster practiced. Talk about complete opposite of the Ravens as well. This excludes Rashee Rice. He's still on suspension. What's up, ISO? Ravens injury report. Isaiah Likely was limited Wednesday, and today, Thursday. That's a good sign. Hopefully we get him back, and that's going to be a big deal. As Monken said earlier, another tool to this offense. And another big name, Travis Jones. He didn't practice yesterday. Today, Thursday, he returns and he's limited. It's a good sign. We're going to talk about him later. Did not practice. Couple of big names. Matabike obviously has that neck injury. Ricard with a calf thing that is still not looking great. And then Ronnie Stanley added to this report. He was out Wednesday and now Thursday. You could see a Joseph Noteboom or a Carson Vincent come Sunday against the Chiefs. I don't like the sound of that. You're one guy that's supposed to be protecting Lamar at the all-pro level that he is besides Lunderbaum, and you're going to lose him. That's not a good look. Not great sounding. ISO, yeah, we got to change that record against Mahomes. Absolutely. I hope we do. X and O's here. Chiefs offense versus the Ravens defense. Kansas City's offense right now is kind of their Achilles heel. Their run game has been a little lower than average. Their offensive line play, according to Mitchell Schwartz, if you watched the Ravens Collective a few nights ago, is playing at a very low level to what they are paying for. Trey Smith, I believe, the highest paid guard in the NFL, and a couple of good guys on that line as well. The Kansas City offense has success executing in the run game, and like the Lions did, doubling what might be the only real run game threat on the D-line for the Ravens in Travis Jones. They're going to make the other guys beat you, like the Lions tried to do. We have competent run defenders in someone like Owe, someone like hopefully a Mike Green, and on and on. So you would think that they would get home to a quarterback that apparently has been sacked. I think it is twice minimum in every game so far. Brad is in the chat. What's up, man? Previewing the Ravens. If Brad, if you have anything to add, bro, throw it in there. We can talk about it real quick. Or if I'm sounding stupid. Ravens defense, how they have success is getting off the field more. Zach Orr talked about it, where they just are begging for a turnover. They've been going down into the details with each other in player locker rooms to get the turnover, trying to get that big one. And really stopping the offense in big gashes in the run game is big for them as well. So if you're going to point really at this section of it, this side of the field, Kansas City offense versus Ravens defense, it's probably going to be how well the Chiefs can run the ball. The interior of that O-line hasn't been performing as well as it is supposed to be. What's up, Nate? The defense, you've seen it over the last couple of weeks. Besides the Browns game, which is like the sandwich, the meat in the middle there from these three games, there hasn't been signs of the defense totally in sync. The Browns game, you can almost shove to the side because, no offense to them, it's the Browns offense. They beat the Packers last week. Hey, hats off to them. But 13 points did it. Like they're a different team when talking about this. So when we talk about the Bills and the Lions, those are two competent teams, super good teams, top of the NFL level teams. And the Ravens are going to have to, in this situation, man up defensively, create a play. Last week, you had no sacks. You had no turnovers. The Bills game, I think you got to Allen once and no turnovers. So where does the defense finally step up? This is a chance to. Mahomes doesn't have the greatest weapons right now. As I mentioned before, Hollywood's going to be there. Worthy is practicing and going to play probably for the first time since week 1 where he got injured. They're going to have guys, especially if you look at Sunday night last week. Tyquan Thornton, 5 catches, 71 yards, and a touchdown. Like, Mahomes is still Mahomes. It's just about how well those passing targets can complement his run game. And it hasn't been evident yet. Another crazy stat here. Mahomes is 4 of 15 on 20-plus yard attempts. There's only one other guy in that kind of disparity, and that's Spencer Rattler of the Saints. Again, no disrespect. But Mahomes hasn't had the deep ball that everyone has been expecting since probably Tyreek left. So in this case, the Ravens have been taking good care of of defense when it is a deep pass play. They just have to smarten up when it's shorter plays, the medium plays. They got to figure it out. I hope they can. Orlovsky was even hinting at this on Get Up. If the Chiefs win the game, it's going to be because of their trenches, not even because of Mahomes, which I think is a little ridiculous. But I hope that he's right, where the Ravens can turn this around, not lose a fourth quarter blown lead. That was something Orlovsky mentioned as well. If the Ravens lose because of the defense, more specifically targeting the defense still in this conversation, if the Ravens defense can't hold up and create a big play, create a couple of big stops, and it comes to fourth quarter and you have blown another lead and lose, there's going to be some noise in Baltimore, and it's going to be real. Everyone right now is kind of in this, oh, Harbaugh. Oh no, this is the first time where I think real, highly knowledgeable NFL names are also starting to take note of this. Another weird note, if the Chiefs are to get this rush game going, it's because of the Ravens defense. It's not, and that sounds obvious to say, right? Last week, Ravens allowed 5.9 yards per carry and 4 rushing touchdowns. Chiefs last week, someone said they turned a corner. It was the Giants, but they might have turned a corner. They finally got the deep pass plays, and it was to a guy like Tyquan Thornton. It wasn't with highly regarded names like Hollywood and with Xavier Worthy. So if they turn a corner here and start to light up the Ravens, we're going to have some deeper conversations about coaching and possibly looking at names against Kwame. Watch him have the deep ball against us. Yeah, I could see it. I mean, maybe a play or two, but hopefully nothing past this percentage that we're talking about with 4 of 15. If it's anything up above 50%, if not more, then I'm getting nervous. Kwame asks, how can we be so bad in the air and on the ground? That's such a great question. What I would talk about with Brad and in previous podcasts was last year was basically the opposite, where the run defense was great, the short field situations were great, and then in the medium and long distances, we were getting torn apart. The difference now is the deep ball is kind of protected well because we have 2 excellent safeties in Starks and Hamilton, and then the shorter field is getting ripped up. Is that a Roquan problem? Is that a Marlon Humphrey problem, since he's usually closer to the line of scrimmage now at slot? What is the answer to that besides play calling or besides the talent that you're paying so much, and maybe just people besides those 2 positions that you're paying so much to? How much can they step up? That's what I was mentioning earlier in the podcast about the difference between the blame of the players and of the coaching right now is like, we have to see it again against a top caliber team to really notice it. Because if it was so bad due to Matabike not playing and Van Noy not playing, then where's the fix here for defense? Okay. Enough crazy talk about defense here. Oh, Carson, what's up, man? Where's Brad at? Brad's on vacation. Brad's not with us today. I'm previewing the Chiefs by my lonesome, flying solo with the flock. Let's get into the next X's and O's. Ravens offense versus the Chiefs defense. This is the side that no one's talking about for kind of good reason. The Ravens have scored over 30 in all 3 games. You scored 40 against the Bills, 30 last week, and then the week before is also, a 40 burger. The offense isn't the scary part. And then you look at, why'd they lose last week? Well, a lot of people would circle Derrick Henry and his fumble. 3 straight games with a fumble, and inexcusable for a Hall of Fame top 10, top 5 even level all-time running back. He needs to right the ship. He probably will. And we're also, 3 games in. There's been one play, I guess, of last week specifically where Lamar threw a kind of scary ball. It looked like it probably should have been picked last week against the Lions. Nate saying as long as Henry can keep the ball in his hand. Even then, our offense wasn't humming last week. I would wonder if we could go back to that and the Ravens did switch it up. They got a do-over. Would they get 7 there if they didn't fumble? That'd be a great one. So hey, what's up, bro? You can get it. You can get it. What's up? They're talking smack about my fantasy teams in there. All right. Okay. Chiefs defense. They've gotten 2 sacks in every game so far as well. in 37 attempts last week. Passing attempts last week, got 2 sacks. They've allowed 20 points just a week ago to the defending champs, the Eagles. Eagles don't have a similar team to us as in trenches, nor in, no offense to our guys, passing threats, but running wise, they think similarly. Saquon is used about as much as anyone in the league, and when Henry gets going, he is too. But what happens when you take out that top running back? 12 carries for 50 yards last week for Henry. There's my co-host, Star, my dog. The Ravens offense has to just continue to push the game. If they are, again, looking at a fourth quarter kind of mess up here, if they get to the fourth quarter, since 2020, the Ravens have lost 16 games when having a lead of a touchdown or more. It's not necessarily only the fourth quarter for that, but in the fourth quarter, bury them. I don't care if it's the best plays you have in your bag. You got to get something out there. You have to prove that you can beat a top caliber team, and the Chiefs is the one to do it against. The odds prove that if you lose this game, your chances to make it to the playoffs are super slim already. You do have a cakewalk of a division, but super slim already. Everyone in the locker room is going to start to lose that little glimpse of hope that was supposed to be great towards the end of the year. Something I heard today. Mina Kimes' podcast. I forgot his name. Kenny, maybe? Clark, maybe? I'm so sorry. Guy on her podcast previewing this week talked about how Kyle Hamilton told him that there was a message in the locker room about throw everything you have had about this Ravens team out the window to start this year in training camp. That was Harbaugh's message. When that doesn't happen, and in this case, you are a mess 3 weeks in and leading to week 4. What does that mean? You're supposed to forget all those horrible things, especially specifically how it ended last year, and go into this year thinking, this is it. This is our year of destiny. You got to go watch that interview. They had great stuff about it, or that talk about it. So there's a few good notes here. Mark Andrews had a great game last week. That was a big name everyone was calling for. I would tip my hat to him, hoping that he goes off against a tough opponent that is lacking against tight ends right now. And then Mr. Isaiah Likely has returned to practice. We know how he did him last year. Besides the toe in the end zone, Isaiah Likely limited yesterday and limited today. When that full practice notification hits, I think we're going to be ready to go. It's another kind of boost of adrenaline, boost of hope that the offense will continue to dominate games. What I was looking for specifically against Detroit was what happens in the second half when they make adjustments. That used to be such a big deal for the Ravens and the Ravens offense with Lamar, where the first half, if they did look rough, the second half, they go out and look like a totally different team. The team that the media thinks the Ravens are when they are at their peak. This unstoppable, score on every drive, literally, type of offense, like they did in the Browns game. Browns game, I think they had a scoring possession every single time they had the ball offensively in the second half. So last week with Detroit, they start that way. They start touchdown up 21-14 now. And I'm thinking, there they are. That's the team. That's the Ravens that are supposed to beat these good teams and hold on to these leads and get away with it. And it was once again blown. I'm hoping that the Ravens turn that ship because if it is again, I believe it was a few years ago where that was really our identity, was blowing leads. And now that this year has started this way, blowing leads and choking really, whenever you have had more dominant games, you can't really say that against the Lions, but you could say that again against the Bills in that case. But when you're outplaying the other team and you don't win, when Lamar is as having incredible stats as he is right now, and you're 1-2, there's stuff to be fixed, and it probably does start with the offense. The Chiefs' defense, and talking about X factors, Chris Jones, George Karlaftis, who got paid, and I think Brad also thinks that Owe is going to get paid as much as him. I don't think that's going to happen anymore for sure. The Chiefs' defensive line could have a heyday against the Ravens. Monken was talking about spying with Lamar because last week the Lions did it so well. When Lamar's trying to make the extra play, the second play, quote unquote, of the actual play that he does so well. And they were gobbling it up. I mean, going right at his legs, getting him down, sacks piled up, 7 of them. And they weren't all necessarily on the offensive line. Like, Lamar was trying to make those big plays, but I'd say 4 of them were out of the pocket. I mean, he really was trying to make a bigger play, which we expect of Lamar, but it was questionable. The O-line's going to have a big test again. It's not necessarily the hardest test we've had yet. I think you could say that the Browns probably was the most difficult test, and you beat them 41-17. So the Chiefs have really a game plan to stop Lamar. If you talk about 2024's divisional game and allowing only 10 points, that's pretty insane. The Ravens scoring 10 points, this offense scoring 10 points. They're different now, obviously, but 10 points sounds like impossible nowadays for the Ravens and Lamar. And then last time putting up a fight, but still 20-27, 20 points for the Ravens offense. You're like, yeah, I bet they did lose. That's what's going to need to happen. That turnaround has to happen for this Chiefs game. Beating a quality opponent, even though they are 1-2, both teams are going to treat this like a playoff game. So I expect high intensity. I hope someone like Lamar and like Harbaugh treat this like it is a playoff game. Now, I don't mean that I want them to choke it. I mean that I want them to win it and take it super serious and put their best effort on the line, along with the rest of the team. It's not just those two. So players like D-Hop, I hope they step up against their former team. Maybe there's a little touchdown, a sprinkle in there for my betting friends. We can sum it all up here. Final thoughts and a score prediction here. We got a little tangent for the offense there, but it's worth talking about. Brad's not here with us today, but I did have a guess for him. His score prediction way back when was that the Ravens lose this game. So if I had to guess, Brad would guess, 26-23 Chiefs. For me, let me just toot my own horn real quick. 3-0 on the score predictions so far. Now, I'm not necessarily happy about that because I don't want the Ravens to be 1-2. But co-host again, there's Star in the background. Sorry for the distraction. For me, I'm 3-0 so far, and 4-0 would make it a Ravens win. My score prediction: Chiefs 27, Ravens 29. I think there's just a lot at stake with this. The Chiefs have a little more holes than they should right now. They're a better team than what people are giving them credit for. They have mistakes schematically, offensive line-wise, that they can fix by the end of the year. So it's not like if they lose this game, they're going to be completely out of playoff contention. But both teams are going to be putting their best foot forward in this game to be showing the world, we're definitely who we are. We just played some quality teams to start out and weren't ready to hang around with them playing at the level that they did. So Nate with a great comment here. Sorry if you hear my dog squeaking a toy in the background. Nate, this game will really tell us what this team's identity is. Yeah, a lot of people calling it like measuring tape kind of game, measuring sticks kind of game. And I've said that the last couple of weeks, actually. With the Lions, it was specifically a measuring sticks game because this is an NFC team that you beat in the past. 24-2 before that game. Now he's 24-3, Lamar, against the NFC. The Ravens just have dominance against them. They didn't that game. They got dominated. So with the Chiefs, it's another team where it's almost the opposite. 1-5 against them, Lamar is. Mahomes owns the Ravens. There's countless highlight plays that Mahomes and the Chiefs have made over all these years. I hope they can figure it out. I have the Ravens winning 29-27. I believe in the Ravens defense getting a stop, a big play, a turnover, maybe righting the wrongs of, all these 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, so the Lions can just make up a 19-yard freaking play to go all the way down the field. Get the Ravens defense off the field. Zach Orr, star players, Hamilton, Humphrey, Wiggins, Rowe, Mike Green, away. Any of those guys, make the big play. Go get the quarterback. Give this defense a rest and put it in the hands of arguably the best quarterback in football and the best offense in football. Give them a chance. Let's get this game done. Nate here. Despite our run defense, I don't think they'll really get their game going. You think that for the Chiefs, maybe? If it's about the if it's about the Chiefs like stopping us defensively, they've been good defensively. 27 of the Chargers week 1, and that's in Brazil, and that's also without Worthy. I know that's not a defensive player, but still opportunities on offense went away from him. Yeah, I don't think Pacheco will get running. That's the big one. You know, everyone's saying Ravens run defense is that bad. Go bet the Pacheco over. Isaiah Pacheco has never really been the big rushing yards kind of running back. In last year, to start the season in the opener, I believe he had 45 yards for 15 carries, 3 yards a carry. He did have a touchdown. 3 yards a carry. We'd be like singing our freaking song and dance if that happened to us. I wanted to look up the Ravens last week. I believe Jahmyr Gibbs was what? 50 yards, 12 touches, 16 touches. I don't remember. Jahmyr Gibbs had 22 carries for 67 yards. That looks like the Ravens. When you talk about David Montgomery, 12 carries, 151 yards. Yikes. There's the freaking problem. 224 rushing yards. But if you take out David Montgomery, you held the best back to about 3 yards a carry. There's signs of the Ravens playing better. The Chiefs don't really have that type of run game that can maul you the entire drive after drive. These long, if the Chiefs get backed up, they're going to need these big explosive plays that I don't think they can really get from Pacheco because of their offensive line playing a little poorly and because the Ravens are talented. Their roster is talented. They just can't get off the field. And it was an issue of not stopping them on the second and long, second 7+, like Zach Orr was talking about in his press conference today. They want to get in favorable situations, third and 6+, really, and find an advantage to lower the blows of the first and second downs, and third down, get off the field instead of giving, teams, even in the Lions case, it is a little exception because if they get 4th and 2, 4th and 3, 4th and 1, they're going to go for it. The Chiefs are a little different in that regard. They're going to play a longer game, but I'm hoping they can figure it out. Kwame Pacheco always plays well against us. I wonder what the stats are every single time. I know that last game was pretty rough. I don't remember if the divisional was really that dominant. We can look really quick. But Pacheco, even a name like Kareem Hunt in last week, that's why these NFL guys, NFL girls too, talking about a turnaround and turning of the corner for the Chiefs. That it technically could have happened with the Giants because Hunt touches the end zone. The passing game gets going a little bit in the deep game with Tyquan Thornton. And now they add more guys. Is there a secret sauce that they've kind of figured out? And now they're getting a few more reinforcements. And their team is almost fully healthy compared to us. So if they knock us off, sure, it's going to be heartbreaking. But the Ravens definitely have a chance to make the playoffs in the end game if they can get a little help in the reinforcements department. Yeah, I'm going to look here at the 17-10 game really quick. Player stats. Pacheco, less than 3 yards a carry. 68 yards, 24 carries. Sure, he's a big name in it, but like they're getting so much help offensively through a Rashee Rice last year that got like 8 catches. They won't have him. Travis Kelce in this divisional game, 116 yards, 11 catches, and a touchdown. Holy crap. Travis Kelce doing that nowadays would be a story. I mean, I love Travis Kelce. So does Taylor Swift. I don't think he's that good with nowadays offense, not having the weapons around him. Sure, once a Rice comes back, maybe even with this Worthy coming back, they do look different. But Mahomes throws the ball a lot against the Ravens. because their run defense was so good against them in these last 2 games. Take out Matabike, take out Kyle Van Noy. What does it look like now? So, Nate here, we need that tiebreaker against the Chiefs. So true. More likely we faced them earlier than the Bills this year. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, tiebreaker, sure. Like, maybe it gets us to like a 3 seed instead of a 4 if we do have a poor year this year. But no one's really talking about how it could be a team we play in the playoffs round 1. Is that possible? Round 1 against the Chiefs? That'd be a little nightmare fuel. Maybe get the demons exercised out of the way, like starting off maybe, but holy crap. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be a great game. Both teams are so desperate. I talked about the stats earlier. 13% chance to make the playoffs. Or 13% of teams make the playoffs after that. The Ravens are still favored to win their division by a lot, even if they lose this game, which they very well could. It's in Arrowhead. They still have a chance. So there's a little light at the end of the tunnel. It's just getting a little dimmer by the day now with all these losses. Ravens will turn it around. Hopefully they do against the Chiefs. So I got a few things to note whenever we do this little outro here. We have a Discord server. Everyone was talking about, let's make a group chat. We got to talk. Everyone's got to talk in there. We have a new Ravens Discord. We're going to be shouting it out a lot more, on our Instagrams, on Twitter and all. Ravens talk 24/7 in that Discord. All of you guys, both me and Brad, are going to be in there. The link is down below. So you're going to want to tune in with us. We're going to be probably talking about the games live. You can talk with other people live. But we're going to be doing a lot of fun stuff. You'll get notifications about when we're going live here on YouTube. Maybe we'll have some exclusive chats. We have a few voice chats in there now too. But exciting stuff. It's just getting started. The Discord is live now. If you want to join, link is down below. And yeah, this has been the preview, week 4 preview. I hope I did all right by myself solo. It's the first time. Brad did it once, or maybe twice now, a while ago. But I hope I measured up. Yeah, exciting game. 4:25 p.m. Eastern time. We'll see you guys live afterwards for our post-game thoughts and reaction. And Brad will be back. So we'll see you guys then. Appreciate you all for coming out. Nate, Kwame, Sean, Suhaib, Nate. Oh, sorry, I said Nate twice. Carson, Brad, ISO in the chat a little here too. Appreciate you all. Join the Discord, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.